Hi, good evening all, and thank you so much for joining today's exclusive webinar session. This is the most interesting and most awaiting session that I'm sure all our viewers were waiting for. My name is Ashish Asthana, and today we are talking on an exclusive topic that's small case. Right, I have gone through the questions that our various investors have asked, how to use it, what is this all about, and so on. But prior to that, on most of the webinars that we have done on equity part, I have received one common question that what stocks should I invest? Can you recommend some stocks? Because we do, in order to invest in equity and in order to get benefited, definitely you need to have knowledge. But along with knowledge, it is very important that you should have time and right selection of stocks as well. So today we are going to talk exclusively about small case. What is the small case and how those challenges which we are generally we face can overcome. Because we have a very special guest with us today, Mr. Vasant Kamath, who is the CEO and founder of Smallcase. So thank you so much, Vasant, for joining us.
Thanks, Ashish. Thanks for having me.
Please let us know, all of our viewers, they are awaiting to know about Smallcase. What is this all about, and how our customers can get benefited with this.
Great, sure. Good evening, investors. Thanks for attending this session. I'm Vasant. I run this company called Smallcase. What we have been trying to do for the last 3 years is basically make stock investing a ridiculously easy process for anybody, whether they're starting right for the first time in the markets or they're an experienced investor. Let me start out by explaining what a small case is. So,
you want to share the screen?
Yes, can we share the screen, please?
Over to our computer screen. All right.
So basically, a small case essentially is a basket of stocks or ETFs, anything that's traded on the exchange, which is selected and weighted in a manner to reflect some strategy. So best way is to basically give you an example. So for example, we have a small case on HDFC Securities called Rising Rural Demand. What that does is it selects the stocks that will gain because of increase in rural consumption as well as rural demand. So for example, FMCG stocks, agricultural stocks, agricultural implements, tractors, fertilizers, two-wheeler stocks, all of them are selected in this small case, and they are weighted and allocated in a manner so that the small case essentially represents that theme.
Correct.
So each small case is a portfolio of stocks which are selected and weighted to reflect some sort of idea, theme, or a strategy.
Okay.
So, the best way to maybe explain it would be to kind of relate it to instruments that we already understand and use. Right. Today, if you're an individual investor, a small investor, you have two ways to essentially invest in the equity asset class. Right. One is through buying direct stocks, right, individual stocks with your brokerage, right, or you can buy mutual funds.
Correct.
So let's see how small cases compare there.
Okay.
What a small case essentially is, again, like I told you, it's a basket of stocks. So it is a portfolio.
Right.
So if you look at it from a portfolio diversification point of view, single stocks are very concentrated because it's one stock, highly high risk levels there. Right. A small case essentially is a portfolio of anywhere between 2 to 50 stocks, much less in risk compared to a single stock.
Right.
Very similar to how mutual funds are constructed, where a mutual fund is essentially a basket or a portfolio of anywhere between 20 to 50 stocks. So where small cases lie is very similar to mutual funds in the sense that they are both portfolios, offer diversification benefits, and hence are less riskier than taking single stock bets.
That's right.
Which is why mostly any new investor starts out with mutual funds. Similarly, they can start out with small cases instead of directly jumping into individual stocks.
Right. In fact, it just reminded me one thing. Few months back, in fact, there was one of our customer who just asked, I don't believe in mutual funds.
Right.
Why should I pay a fund manager a fee?
Exactly.
I am smart enough to manage my own portfolio. I can do it.
We have something exclusively for that customer. I'll get to it when we do the demo.
I am getting the solution to it. Vasant, that's really fantastic.
Sounds great. The second part is basically about it being open and transparent. Like when you buy a stock with your HDFC trading and demat account, it's held in your demat account. You know how much you hold, at what price you bought, how it's performing, and you have complete control over it. Whereas in, say, a mutual fund kind of a structure, you hold the units of the mutual fund where you don't know what the fund manager or the mutual fund is currently holding.
Right.
So there is a little bit of opacity there. Whereas in a small case, you hold the underlying stocks in your demat account itself. And you exactly see which is the stock that is giving you the performance of your overall portfolio, which is the stock that is not doing well. since it's actual stocks held in your demat account, it is liquid. You can buy and sell this anytime that the markets are open, similar to stocks. Whereas in a mutual fund, it takes 2 days for allotment or redemption.
That's right.
Also, since you're actually holding the stock in your demat account, whenever there's a dividend given, you get that back directly and you get that benefit.
Oh, I guess that's a very positive point, that because demats, because the shares are in my demat, so if dividend declare, we will receive.
Exactly. So yours stay in complete control. It's completely transparent and open to you, compared to something like, say, a mutual fund structure where you only know that you have this many units and the only piece of information that you get is whether it's gone up or down for that day.
True.
The third difference would be from a cost point of view. Like that example that you brought up, when you say buy an individual stock, you only pay when you're placing an order or you're transacting.
True.
Whereas in a mutual fund, you pay an expense ratio every day, and that is being deducted from your investment every day.
Right.
So, say on an average, a mutual fund expense ratio would be 1.5 to 2%.
2%.
That is divided by 365, and every day that is getting deducted from your investment, which makes that is your fees that you're paying.
Oh.
And as you know, fees are like permanent losses. So, the lesser the fees you pay, obviously, the better returns that you get.
Exactly.
Same philosophies with small cases. You only pay when you place an order. That is the brokerage that is usually charged.
Right.
There's no other charges at all right now associated with it. Like stocks, you only, when you're placing an order, you pay fees with small cases. Giving a very small example to show how it works, say you're investing 10,000 rupees in a small case every month. In a year, you have 1.2 lakh rupees that you've invested.
Right.
That is multiplied by your brokerage rate, which is anywhere between 0.3 to 0.5%. Whereas, say, in a mutual fund, if you invest 10,000 every month, 1.2 lakhs is multiplied into 1.5 to 2.5% every year, which is getting deducted every day.
Every day.
Just a very simple example to show the cost effectiveness of a small case compared to a mutual fund.
That's right.
The fourth is basically an interesting point, because each small case is related or kind of represents a strategy. The stocks selection, the weightage, and how they are rebalanced or updated is true to the strategy itself. There is no subjectivity in the sense that there is someone taking a manual call saying that this stock shouldn't go in, this stock shouldn't go out. If the strategy is rising rural demand, the stocks are selected and weighted in a manner that it will always represent rising rural demand.
Okay.
So if you believe in a theme, all you have to do is invest in that small case, because if the theme plays out, the stocks will also do well.
Correct.
Whereas in a mutual fund, there's obviously a lot of subjectivity. In an actively managed mutual fund, the fund manager takes calls, their team kind of does research, and then they kind of select which stocks they should go inside. There's no true to label strategy that is being followed as such over there in an actively managed mutual fund.
Right.
And the fifth and the most important difference is with small cases, these are all based on ideas that are simple to understand. At the same time, there are a lot of use cases for different small cases. Like you can see ideas like right from the GST implementation, because GST is being implemented in the country, which are the sectors and stocks that will gain because of the successful implementation. Rural demand, I already told you about. Dividend stocks, we have a small case called dividend aristocrats, which is basically those stocks which have always kept increasing in the number of dividends that they have given every year.
Right.
Whereas in mutual funds, it's restricted again to a very few categories like large cap, small cap, ELSs, etc.
True.
So these are like the differences between how single stocks, small cases, and mutual funds come together.
Definitely. In fact, a lot of our investors, they want to invest in equities. There are specific customer set who want to know which are the stocks which are giving highest dividend. They want to invest in dividend yielding stocks.
Right.
Or as you said, that GST, this is such an, it's an opportunity.
Correct.
But investors don't know which are the industries or which are the stocks which are getting affected and which will give a rise. So if we get to know that with this small case theme, I guess that would be something really great to get the benefit out of it.
Precisely. So the idea is that you see changes around you, you see things that events and occurrences that are happening around you, but how do you act on it? That's what small cases help you do. Also, at the same time, since it's a basket or a portfolio approach, it's very less riskier compared to taking a single stock investment there.
That's right.
So just recapping again the benefits, what a small case is, essentially it's a middle ground between individual stocks and mutual funds, and enjoys the advantages of both. Compared to mutual funds, it's liquid, completely in your control because you hold the stocks, it's transparent, and it's cost effective.
Right.
Versus single stocks, it gives you a portfolio diversified exposure, hence it's less riskier. It's very simple to understand, captures a lot more use cases, and it's very true to the underlying strategy.
Right.
Now, I would love to show you, how the platform works for all our clients here.
Sure.
Does it work online? Does it work offline? These are questions that, a lot of people have even asked me.
Oh, definitely, definitely. This question comes to our mind. Whether the small case is it provided by HDFC Securities? Is it provided offline? Do you need to fill up any paperwork or do any kind of an offline work? So, answer to that is no. It's completely available online. And the best part out here is that you don't even have to act any kind of, you don't have to take any kind of a privilege, fill up an application form and send across to get the access of it. So considering the constant feedbacks that we are receiving from our customers, we are now trying to ensure, and again, ensuring that the norms which has been followed by exchange, everything we are working out to make it a complete, a ace for our customers. And basis that this functionality is available completely online, no privilege to be activated, no physical activity to be done. Simply you have to log in. There is a separate login page. I will show you how you can access to this account. All the account holders who are holding HDFC Securities Demat and trading account, they can use Smallcase, they can view Smallcase, and they can take advantage of this at this point of time. So I will show you how those things will work out. So over to my computer screen, and I will show you how you can access the Smallcase. So here, this is our website, hdfcsec.com. Since it's our new product, so you can see it is available on banner as well. If you click on invest now, it will be taken you to the login page of Smallcase. However, you can access the same by clicking on products. Under the trading platforms, you can see the third option as Smallcase. So even you can click here and you will be redirected to Smallcase login. Now here you need to enter your regular user ID and password that you generally do. Let me quickly log in.
So all I need is a trading and demat account with HDFC Securities and I'm set.
That's it. And then simply click on login, and here we can see we can get the access to Smallcase user interface, right? So we would like to know, in fact, this question was also coming to my mind, Vasant, that how the Smallcase are created. Now you said there is a specific research, there is a specific methodology which has been taken care. So can you, our viewers, know where all these things can be checked and how one person can do it?
Sure, Ashish, would love to.
Sure.
So as you know, what I told you about a small case is that it's a basket of stocks. Let me start out from the Discover screen where you can see all the small cases that are there. Why I'm starting from here is that so that you know what are the different types of small cases, how they look, and how you can actually understand them.
Right.
So right from Diwali picks 2018, these are stocks handpicked by HDFC Securities to invest in this Diwali.
Right.
To say Pharma Tracker, companies that track and represent the pharma sector as a whole. So you don't need, say, to buy multiple pharma stocks to get pharma exposure anymore. You have a pharma tracker that you can directly buy. Right. I'll get into more, but these are all the small cases that are available right now. So let's look at let's look at the different filters that we have here.
Right.
So there is a minimum investment amount for each small case. Okay. Since you can't buy fractions of shares today, right, you have to at least buy one share, which is why this minimum investment amount keeps changing in real time during the market hours. Okay. Also, each small case you would see this value called index value. That is similar to how a stock price is or how a mutual fund NAV is. It shows you how much it has changed today. So for example, today low risk smart beta has gone up by 0.65%, and the index value essentially starts at 100 at the inception date. Okay. So, and we have different, so you can filter for anything that you want to invest less than 5,000. There are no small cases right now. We're getting a lot more onto the platform. By types, so like I told you about the thematic ones. So Diwali picks 2018. Rural demand is increasing. Which are the stocks that stand to gain from it? Luxury products and services are seeing a lot of uptick in demand today in India. Which are the stocks that gain from that? You can also see how the CAGR has been since this small case was started or first uploaded. So the Bringing the Bling, which is the luxury products and services small case, has given a CAGR of 27.57% since its inception.
Right.
This is the annualized return. Great Indian Middle Class. Which are the companies that basically middle class India is actually embracing? Which are the brands that they're using today?
True.
GST opportunity. Companies from sectors which are growing and growing big thanks to GST coming in and being implemented. These are some of our thematic ones. On the model based ones, you can see we have low accruals. These are high growth companies where the cash flow, that is the operating cash flow, is greater than the net income. The other one that we already talked about, dividend aristocrats. These are stocks that have been consistently increasing dividends for the last 10 years.
Okay.
Other types of small cases is you can invest in sectors that you are interested in. Here we have two sectors. One is tracks the pharma sector, one tracks the energy sector. And the last set is basically smart beta small cases. So let's look at a smart beta small case to understand what it is.
Right.
So a smart beta small case, essentially, this is how a small case page looks. Right from, say, you can see the name, a brief overview, you can see the risk level of the small case, the index value, CAGR, last 1 year returns. You can see different, the explanations of all these as well. When the inception date was, how the CAGR has been changing, what's the risk level, etc. You can see a rationale as to how the small case, what is the idea behind the small case and why investors should invest in this. So the idea behind this smart beta small case is that there's a concept of smart beta where you take the large cap stocks,
Okay.
select and weight them in a way that the risk is the same as Nifty, but the returns will be more in the long term.
Okay.
That is what smart beta attempts to do. So you want to read more about how the smart beta, low risk smart beta small case is created? There's a complete blog post over here which will tell you the entire strategy and as well as a lot more details about the creation of this small case. You can also see the methodology as to how the small case is created. This is present for all small cases, right from how we define the universe to how the research is done to the screening of the stocks, how the weights are decided. There's historical backtesting done to ensure that this is the right strategy for the markets. And then there's a rebalance. What happens during a rebalance is that some stocks are removed, some stocks are added to ensure that the current stocks and weights represent the small case in the right manner.
Right manner. Exactly the way it happens in Nifty. If the company is not performing, it goes out.
Exactly. So there is a criteria for Nifty on a half yearly basis. Some companies go out, some companies come in. Similarly with small cases, exactly the same thing happens on a quarterly basis. Some companies go out, some companies come in, so that the underlying strategy of the small case remains the same.
That is something really quite transparent. I mean to say, as an investor,
Right.
if I want to see the details, everything is available. Nothing has been hidden, or there could be a doubt in my mind. I can check each and everything before I go
Exactly. Every single thing that you need to know about the small case is present on the small case page. Like I told you, it's completely open and transparent, not just after you invest, but even before you invest.
True.
You can also see the past performances as how to this small case is done, right from the last 10 years to the last 1 year. It's beaten the Nifty in the last 1 year itself, or in the last 6 months as well.
Right.
You can also see if you had invested into the small case in an SIP every month, this is how the small case returns would have been. Now here we can see the stocks and weights. These are the different segments that the stocks fall in, and these are the different companies that are part of this small case, along with the actual weightage of what each stock is allocated in this. Now you want to know more about a certain stock, all you have to do is just click on it and we give you some very key information about that stock so that you know how the last 1 year return was and some other ratios and values.
Right.
Right. Let me also tell you about one more small case that we have called all-weather investing. Why this is very interesting is it's not just equity or just stocks inside this. It's a portfolio of equity, gold, and fixed income.
Oh, okay.
So
Diversified one.
Correct. So this actually gives you asset allocation and diversification across 3 different asset classes.
True.
Now you would have heard of hybrid or balanced funds where there is an allocation between equity and debt.
Correct.
Here there's a third component added called gold.
Okay.
And how we give you this exposure is through ETFs, through exchange traded funds.
Right.
These are similar to stocks. They trade, whenever the markets are open. So this small case essentially has 4 ETFs inside it. So talking about this small case again, you can essentially see it gives you stable returns because of the asset allocation. It's at a much lower risk and it's very minimal fees because these are ETFs, not again mutual funds where the expense ratio is between 1.5 to 2%. The expense ratio here is around 0.6% itself.
Okay.
Of all the ETFs put together.
Right.
So how it's given returns in the last 10 years after adjusting for taxes, it's beaten Nifty as well as the FD because of the asset allocation. Also, if you see how the risk has done, if you see in a period like 2008, when Nifty fell 53%, the all-weather investing small case only fell 18%.
Oh.
If you see in 2010 to 11, when Nifty fell 23%, the all-weather investing small case rose 1%. So even if you see the graph, whereas Nifty is quite volatile, this is a very stable graph that keeps increasing over time. It will not say outperform the markets or it won't give you blockbuster returns or something like that. But this is a great way to actually park your money that you want in something better than an FD.
True.
Instead of investing in an FD, which gives you only fixed income exposure,
Right.
you have equity, gold, and fixed income. The idea primarily is that when the markets are doing well, the equity allocation will give you returns. When the markets are bearish, gold will act as a cushion, or it could actually give you higher returns then. Like for example, if you see August to October, while Nifty and Nifty Next 50 were down 12 and 17%, gold actually went up 7.5%.
That's right.
And fixed income will always give you fixed returns.
Fixed returns.
So this is an interesting small case also that we have.
Right.
Now going about how the whole investment process works. Any favorite that you have that we can pick and kind of do a quick transaction and show how it works?
Sure. Let's do that. In fact, I found this all weather investing itself as a good one. However, this one was also good, great Indian middle class, wherein what middle class people are focusing and what companies are getting affected out of that. I think let us show our investors the buying journey, how an investor can simply invest. So, is it a lump sum investment only, Vasant, or can our investors set up an SIP also in this?
They can do both.
Okay.
So I'll show you how it works.
Great.
Great that you've chosen the Great Indian Middle Class. It's basically you are playing the consumption theme for India, which is slated to grow given that the population as well as the workforce will continue to grow and be the highest in the world.
Correct.
Let's take exposure to that theme. So there, like I told you, there's a minimum investment amount. This depends on the current stock prices as well as the weightages. So if you see the weightages are all listed here. We also have a minimum. This is the minimum amount and this is the recommended amount. Recommended amount is to get the ideal allocation of these stocks.
True.
But say you want to invest 1.5 lakhs. All you need to enter, you need to confirm it. The amount is adjusted slightly so that the weighting scheme is still intact. These are all the shares and the stocks that you're buying. All are buy orders. This is your final amount that you're investing. You click invest now. You get a confirmation that these are all being placed at the current market prices with IOC validity. You confirm the orders and these are placed to the exchange.
That is fantastic. So I have bought this 20 stocks in one click. I
Yes.
don't need to place multiple orders.
No.
Super.
It's exactly like you're buying a single stock or a single mutual fund, exactly how you're buying a single small case.
Great.
Now that all your orders have been successfully filled, we do checks for this before also creating a small case so that there is liquidity in all the small cases. You never have to be stuck with a certain stock or with a certain small case. You can buy and sell anytime.
All right.
Now let's look at, say, how your investments are. Now that I just bought this, you can see that I had invested 1,50,614. I had invested 1,50,447, sorry, and now it's grown to 1,50,614. So you can see the index value when you have invested, it starts at 100 itself, like I told you. Now it's 0.11% up.
Right.
And this keeps changing over time. So I refresh this. Right now it's still 0.11% up, but then you can see the current returns, total returns, and inside you can see how individually each stock is also doing.
Okay.
Another thing that is different over here is basically we show you the dividends also, how much you've got from each stock.
Oh.
So any corporate action that happens on each stock is completely adjusted for here on the X date itself.
Okay.
Now you can see the news about the stocks in the small case. You can see how each stock is performing in your small case. You can say export the details if you want to. You can add or remove stocks.
Oh, so that edit also we can do it in
Yes.
this? Okay.
However, if you know what you're doing, only then you should add or remove stocks.
True.
If you're still someone who's new to the markets,
It
you
is
might.
advisable not to do.
Yes, these are professionally created small cases. You can just completely go with them itself.
Right.
Now you asked me if you can set up an SIP. Now you can
Yes.
start an SIP on the small case in just 2 clicks. You start an SIP on a monthly basis. Set up any amount that you need. Set up a start date. Say that you want to do it from next. Say when our salary hits our account. That's 3rd December, and you start SIP. Right now the SIP orders are not placed automatically. What happens on 3rd December is you will get an email as well as a notification so that you can come and invest more in this on that date. Again, it's a one-click process, but we are slowly coming with an auto SIP as well, where you can start an SIP and it keeps getting invested every month, exactly like how mutual funds happen.
Okay.
So now when you click say start SIP, your SIP is set for the small case. Frequency is monthly. The amount is minimum investment amount, starts from December 3rd. Another thing over here is when you exit a small case, you don't have to exit it completely all the time. You can even exit it partially. I don't mean selling single stocks, but you can exit, say, I want to just exit 10,000 worth. You confirm, you're exiting for 10,031. The platform ensures that your weightages are still intact so that your small case is the same as the original small case and you exit only for this amount.
This is fantastic. I mean to say, even if I was wondering if I have to sell, how do I do? I probably do not want to sell my entire portfolio.
Right.
I want to maybe have 50% of that or maybe 30%
Exactly.
of that. So I just need to enter the amount, and that auto allocation will happen, which
Correct.
will not affect my existing one also.
Correct.
And I can do a partial exit. That is
Completely.
something really amazing. I'm sure all our investors will like this.
Now, the other part that you were talking about, an example, somebody asked you about, how to create a portfolio of stocks and invest. Why should they pay a fund manager if they're experienced? They can even create a small case on their own.
Oh, so they can create their own small case as well.
Yes, they can create a small case. They can say, let's tell me some stocks that you want to buy.
I want to go with some, high dividend yielding stocks.
Okay, so let's take, say, HDFC for that matter. You add HDFC Bank over here. You can change the weighting scheme from equi-weighted, market cap weighted, or you can choose the weightage. There are similar stocks that you can see, and you can add from here itself. You can see the performance as to how this small case is done with respect to Nifty in the last 1 year. If you had bought in this weightage, or if you had bought in market cap weightage, this is how it would have done. Now you can add more segments if you want to, or you can save it as a draft so that you invest at some point of time in the future, or you just click invest now where you'll have to name it. So say this is private banks. So private banks I am bullish
So
on.
I can, whatever thought process I have, I can view, I can write this here so that I can remember.
Exactly.
Super.
And this is, so this, now when you're investing into this, what happens is this basically becomes like you are your own fund manager. This is your small case that you have created. This is a portfolio that you have created. It's
True.
like you are managing your own funds.
That's right. In fact, I have to get back to that customer and I have to inform, sir, what you are looking at now we have for you.
Yes. So
And all this can be done in one click, right?
Yes.
Once we have created my small case,
Correct.
I did buy, invest, and all the stocks can
yes.
be bought
So
in one
like I have put 3 stocks here. You
Right.
click buy. You want to invest anything. You say you want to invest 50,000 in this.
50,000, yes.
50,200 is how much you're investing. You invest now. All the orders go through together.
Super. That is fantastic.
Obviously we have a lot more over here. You can see all your orders over here. There's a help section as to how you can read all about small cases from here itself. If you have any doubt anytime on the platform, you can tap the chat over here, chat with somebody from HDFC Securities customer service team will be in touch with you and help you.
Right.
There are all the FAQs also documented over here itself.
Right.
This is your dashboard where you see investment insights. This basically helps you what your next step onto the platform should be. Like we tell you that the great Indian middle class, since you had bought it, this small case is up by 3% in the last 1 month. Invest more.
Wow.
Diwali picks, because this is Diwali season is going on, you should view this small case. So this investment insights section helps you essentially take your next steps in your investment journey. And you can see all the small cases for news for all the small cases that you invested in or watch listed.
Great. So I guess this is one platform which not only helping me to select the recommended stocks or a portfolio, but it is timely updating me also that what's going on and what's an increase in that, so that probably if I want to, chip in some more funds, I can do that and I can take more informed decisions.
Yes, you will continue to get emails for all transactions. Whenever, say, your small case has gone up or down by a certain margin, you'll get a trigger to basically start an SIP for that or invest more into it. So those kind of communications are also built into the platform. You will continue to get that whenever there's any noticeable activity on your small cases.
Superb. I guess this was seriously fantastic, and I'm sure that this have helped our investors. Now we are open for Q&A. So viewers, if you have any specific questions that you want us to answer, please ask. We'll be happy to answer. So let's see what questions we are getting. Okay, so the first question we are getting is from Mr. Vaibhav. He is asking, is small case available on Empowered? So yes, let me answer this. Small case is not available on Empowered. However, it is available on our website, right? So on our website, when you click on small case, there is a specific login of it. Under Empowered, it is not there. However, the user credential remains the same. The one you use for Empowered or for Pro Terminal, it is the same one for small case as well. And it will not be displayed. However, the stocks which you have purchased, that will be displayed in your portfolio. But whenever you want to view how your small case is performing, that you can simply come into the small case, log in, and there you can check. And from there, I would recommend from there you do a sell or a partial exit or a complete exit, whatever you are looking at, you can do it from small case login portal itself.
And just a follow-up question, this is available on my smartphone as well?
Yes, that's in fact good question that you have come up with. This small case interface that we have made, it is mobile responsive as well. So simply they need to click on hdfcsec.com on their mobile browser, And there, if they click on small case, they will immediately get the login window. Once they will enter, they can, the way you have accessed it right now on website, similarly you can access on mobile application as well.
Okay.
So in order to start, because I do understand a lot of our investors, when they work, they don't have access to the third party websites. So I guess this would be the best thing. They can simply log into our mobile website hdfcsec.com, and from there, in that interface of mobile browser, they can do the investments as well.
Sounds perfect.
So let's take the next question. This is asked by Mr. Rakesh Tiberwal. He's asking how NAV is calculated. Is it every day?
So, like I told you, so basically a small case is a collection of stocks, and stocks, the prices change in real time. So, unlike an NAV of a mutual fund, which is calculated once a day to tell you whether the fund has gone up or down, this is calculated in real time when the markets are open. So, you can actually see during the day how your small case and the entire portfolio of stocks is doing, as well as how individual stocks are doing. So, this is calculated in real time when the markets are open and keeps changing to show you how the index value is changing.
Next question we are getting from Mr. Manu. He's saying, I have to open a HDFC Demat account. So Mr. Manu, you simply have to go, you can call up our customer care, or you can simply go, we are present on Google Voice Assistants. You can simply press and hold your home button of your Android phone and you will immediately get a voice assistant. Just say talk to HDFC Securities. Our virtual smart assistant, that's artificial intelligence based bot, Arya, will come there, and there you will get an option of open an account. It will ask you to enter your mobile number. The moment you enter your mobile number, a respective sales team from your location will get in touch with you, come to your place, get your documents collected, and open your account at the earliest. Next question we are getting from Mr. Kumar. He is asking what are the charges that will be incurred while creating small case. As we said that the charges will be brokerage, and I guess this is the only product which is cost effective as well.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
So
only the brokerage, only when you place orders.
Only when you place order, the brokerage will be charged. There is no other charges at this
There's
point.
no management fee, no expense ratios at all.
Great. Dr. Vishnu is asking, can I invest in small case with HDFC Demat account, or else you can tell me the process of investing in small case? I guess, Mr. Vishnu, we have already taken through the entire process. In case if you have missed up, you can go back to your Facebook account and just check. Like our page, we are present on all our socials. We are there on Facebook, we are there on Twitter, we are there on Instagram, we are there on YouTube as well. So even this video, after some time, it will be uploaded on our YouTube channel. That's HDFC Sec Securities. You just have to type in, subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon. Once this video would be uploaded, you will get a notification. And there, in case if you have missed the earlier part, in fact, the viewers who have joined late, if they have missed the earlier part, they can view that. Even you can go to our Facebook page, HDFC Securities. There also you will be able to see the recording of this webinar, right? And as you said, yes, it can be if you hold an HDFC Demat account, yes, you can do that. Simply you need to have your online login credentials. If you do not have, please contact the relationship manager or the nearest branch of HDFC Securities, and we'll be more than happy to help you. Let's move to the next question. So this question is asked by Mr. Madhav Kelkar. He's saying, is there any basket of stocks to be bet on EV mobility in India? Investment horizon is of 10 to 15 years.
I'm assuming Madhav, EV mobility is basically electric vehicle mobility. In that case, this is a perfect idea for a small case for the long term, given that, in a recent survey also it came that there is a high propensity of like close to 57% of Indians to actually move to electric vehicles whenever they come in the future. There is a small case being designed for this. It should come onto the HDFC Securities platform very, very soon. Right now we have 12 small cases on the platform. We will continue to keep adding small cases of different types, ideas, strategies, themes over time as they pass.
Right. So we are getting this next question. We are getting where it is. This has been asked by Mr. Dwarkanath. He's saying how to access small case and is it active now? So Mr. Dwarkanath, yes, it is available now. You just have to log into hdfcsec.com. The second banner page you can see of small case, you click on invest now. It will ask you to log in. You can log in and you can see the same interface which we have just shown you. The next question we are getting from Mr. Paresh. He's saying, I have understood, if I have understood correctly, my portfolio on HDFC Sec will show individual stocks and their current value. And in future, I could sell small case units, amounts, and individual stocks too.
Exactly. So, Parish, you've hit the nail. On your HDFC SEC portfolio, you will see all the stocks that you've bought. You will see how they are doing individually. But to see how they are doing on a small case or a portfolio level, you will have to come to the Small Cases platform on HDFC Securities. You can track it very seamlessly there. You can place actions in just one click. You can both sell individual stocks from this, or you can exit partially or completely the small case in just one click itself.
Right.
However, just a word of caution, if you exit a stock from your HDFC Securities that is part of small case, this does not reflect back into small case. So all small case related actions, you should ideally take it on the small cases platform itself.
Right, that's what, in fact, some time back I've said that whatever related to small case, it would be advisable that you execute those transactions on small case platform itself. The next question we are getting, if it has been getting, we are getting this from Miss Lalita. She's saying, if I create a small case,
Right.
will you send me reminder of rebalancing?
No, Lalita, we don't do that. If you're creating a small case, we are assuming that you are the fund manager, you're doing your own research. So we don't send reminders for rebalancing right now. But if you invest in any of the small cases either created by HDFC Securities on the platform, you will receive continuous rebalance updates as per the frequency.
Next question is by Mr. Ravi Yadav. He's saying, is it eco-friendly to invest in small case to new investor in market?
Definitely. I think given that, small cases is completely virtual, there is no paperwork, it's completely paperless, it's definitely eco-friendly, and it's completely meant for new investors to invest in the markets.
Right. So Eric have just asked, what if the client sell the shares from HDFC portfolio? We have just answered that question. It is not advisable. Yes, you can do so, but it is not advisable because it will not reflect in your small case. So it is advisable that you create your small case from the small case platform, and whenever you want to do an exit, you should do that from your small case interface itself.
It won't be adjusted automatically. You will have to kind of chat with the customer service team to update this, and it will take some couple of days to actually update this on the small cases platform. So it's completely advisable to just use the small cases platform for all your small case stock transactions.
A good question asked by Miss Lalita. She's asking, what is maximum number of stocks included in a small case?
So we have the minimum limit, given that small case is a basket, a minimum limit of stocks is 2. Maximum we have kept at 50. However, all the small cases that you see on the platform that is created professionally have anywhere between 10 to 20 stocks only in there. But if you're creating a small case on your own, you can create anything from 2 to 50.
Right. Ms. Swati is asking how small case is different from ETF.
It's very similar actually, Swati. A small case is similar to an ETF, except that again in an ETF you get the unit of the ETF in your demat account, whereas in a small case you actually hold the underlying stocks. So from a control and transparency point of view, this goes higher over an ETF. But again, compared to every other point that we had discussed with mutual funds and small cases and ETFs are very similar. It's just that small case is a more powerful instrument than ETF, just because you can control what is there in that ETF, not a fund manager who's managing that ETF.
So considering the, this time constraint, we will take the last question.
Sure.
Okay, so this question we are getting, what equity strategy should a non-aggressive or a equity investor follow?
So I'm assuming again by non-aggressive you mean someone who's conservative and looking for a less volatile, stable returns. Like I told you, there are 2 to 3 small cases on the platform that are classified under low risk. This is again done based on the Sharpe as well as the standard deviation of the stocks in that small case. One is definitely all-weather investing. It's a mix of equity, gold, and fixed income. In equity, you have 2 ETFs that give you exposure to the top 100 stocks. With gold, you have a gold ETF, and in fixed income, you have liquid Bs that gives you fixed returns via dividends again. So that is one great way to actually get stable returns over time with very, very low risk. There are other 2 small cases which are, like I told you, they have the same risk level as Nifty, but the selection and weighting is done in a manner so that with an objective to beat Nifty in the long term. Those are the smart beta small cases, which are again classified under low risk on the platform. Other than that, other small cases will come between moderate to high risk. But for a non-aggressive conservative investor, these are the three small cases you should look at to get started with investing.
Right. So that's all for now, viewers. Thank you so much for joining in large. Highly appreciated your participation and the questions that you have asked. We will be coming up with more such sessions on small case going forward in few days to come. We will be definitely coming up there and we'll be resolving your queries. In the meanwhile, I request you please get in touch with your relationship manager if you need more assistance, or simply it is, I would say, the entire platform just, it is quite self-explanatory.
Exactly.
A user can view this webinar once again in case if they have missed it, and they can simply log in. It is self-explanatory. Each and every things are displayed over there. You can see the values of small case, what is the minimum amount required and how much you can do. It depends upon you. You know the exact amount what you're looking at, how much you want to invest. If you have 50,000 rupees and you think that I want to do the investment into equity, because equity is the only asset class which gives me the best of the best returns in the compared to any other asset class. If that is you being aggressive, if you want to do that, we have those kind of small cases available. If you are conservative and you are thinking I don't want to take too much of risk, as he just said, so we have smart beta kind of an theme available. At the same time, if you are looking out for something diversified, a hybrid kind of a scheme that you're looking out, then we have all weather investing option, wherein it has been bifurcated into fixed income and ETFs as well. So I believe that this is a complete package for any investor to start up with, whether he is a newcomer or he wants to take the economic, whatever the economic events that are happening, to take the benefit out of that, to grab that opportunity, or you have been little conservative. Everything has been comprised in this beautiful product called as Smallcase. Please view that, subscribe to our YouTube channel. This video would be uploaded out there. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much, Vasant, for joining in today and for giving our investors such an insightful knowledge about Smallcase.
Thanks, Ashish. Thank you everyone for joining. Again, like Ashish said, if you have any doubts, any questions about small cases, all you need to do is go to the Smallcases platform at hdfcsec.com. As soon as you log in, there's a chat button on the bottom right, which you can use to get your queries answered anytime.
Thank you so much, and I wish you all have a great evening ahead.
Happy investing.